Hey, it's Michael Saul, but everybody calls me Tiny, so you can too. And this video is recounting the waves plus a new stock to watch. This is market analysis for the week of May 1st, 2017. Hope you had a great week last week. Let's take a look at what's going on in the market. This is the S&P 500. I'm using the SPY to do my analysis as I usually do. And the count that I originally had is highlighted in yellow. A down, B up, C down. But the S&P took a turn, or the market overall took a turn last week, and instead of finding resistance at the 50-day moving average and rolling back to complete this, it instead went higher. Now, it did not take out the previous high here, which was made March 1st. So now I'm looking at a different count. And again, full disclaimer, I am a seat-of-my-pants Elliott wave counter. I believe that Ralph Elliott had a lot of good things to say. I am not a rah-rah, there has to be a count. As a matter of fact, the first person I ever tried to learn Elliott wave from, the first thing he said is only about 50% of charts you're going to see have an actual count. So don't buy into that. You can force fit a count on every single chart. Now, some will argue with that, whatever. I'm not going to argue it. All right. All I know is that impulsive waves seem to dissect into 5 waves, and corrective waves dissect into 3 waves. And I think I'm using the right word with dissect. If I'm not, don't really care. All right. The whole deal is to use it as background. Always look for confirmation on everything. That's what I do no matter what part of the methodology that I'm using. And I like to say I use a blended methodology. I love Fibonacci retracements. I love using moving averages to spot support and resistance. And most at the top of my list, what I use more often than that is market structure, using patterns, watching momentum, etc. But Elliott wave definitely fits in there. And if I could get a count and try to understand it, then that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so, because I got an email on that and said, oh, I didn't know you were an Elliott wave theorist. I am not. I don't consider myself one, but I use it. I use any and all information I can to try to extract the most amount of money out of the market. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but that's something that I've learned over, 20-something years of trading. Okay, so ABC, that was the original count. That's gone in yellow. And it looks like we have A, B, C here. And the C wave has already gone further, if you're going to look for symmetry here, than the A wave. Now, A does not have to equal C. There could be a Fibonacci extension of it. It could elongate, etc. What I'm most concerned about, or I'm most paying attention, what I'm paying attention to the most, if I could speak, that would be great too, is this a wave 2? Okay, so you see wave 1 and wave 2 here. So I can count 5 down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this could be one of A. Okay, this wave 1 down, and wave 1s, 3, and 5 usually subdivide or dissect, which is, I guess, the wrong word, which subdivide into 5 waves. So this could be 1 of A down. This could be 2 of A up. Now, wave 2s usually put wave 1s to the test. Okay, look at what happened here, right? So here's wave 1 down, and then you got wave 2 up, and it's great when they stop at Fibonacci retracement and all that, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they really test the metal of wave 1. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. We didn't quite take out the highs here where this wave 1 started, so we're testing it. Everybody's like, nah, we're just going to go higher. We're just going to go higher. I mean, if you look at the NASDAQ, and we'll get to all that, it's basically a good conclusion, right? I don't know if it's an opinion, of course, but I mean, the NASDAQ's flying, so you're saying, hey, the rest of the market's going to come up like a tractor beam. It doesn't have to. So everybody's thinking, hey, we're just going to go higher here, and that's what wave 2 can do. Okay, wave 2 can put right? If this is the start of a down move, it would be the bears that were making a stand here, and wave 2 can put the bears to the test in this case. So until this high gets taken out, this count could still be valid. Okay, waves 2 and 4 usually subdivide into 3 waves or a triangle, whatever. Again, I'm not an expert with Elliott wave. I'm sure there's people that know it much better than me, but who are listening to this video overall. Maybe you're one of them, so just let me know. But I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. I'm counting counting A, B, C up, C getting a little extended here, and then I'm counting this whole move as 1 and this whole move as 2. Now, a couple other things too. Is wave 2 getting too long relative to wave 1? I don't have all those formulas to look at. So maybe, hey, you know what, wave 2 is taking too long, so it's voided automatically as far as a time count. Okay, whatever. This is what I'm seeing now. This means that if we take out the highs, and of course we have to stick there, right? Just because we take out the highs doesn't mean that's it, we're just going to rip here. No. I mean, we could get a 2B top here. We could get a double top up here. All right, we are entering May. If you watched my videos the last couple of weeks, you know I have the opinion that I believe we have a sell in May and go away scenario here. I do not think it has to happen on May 1st. First of all, it's May Day, which means a lot of markets are closed around the country. The U.S. is open, right? So it doesn't have to happen May 1st. Okay, it doesn't have to happen at all. It doesn't have to happen at all, okay? I'm just thinking that this is a really good scenario for this, all right? Great, you know, Trump's tax plan has been introduced, and he's getting some, he's getting some pushback even from the GOP, right? So, I mean, okay, and hey, it's going to be great, and the proposed tax plan is going to be great for businesses, all that stuff. Maybe there's a buy the rumor, sell the news type event. Something else that could come into play here, all right? So, and I'm not saying we have to sell off in May. I'm just saying that because there's such a strong rally since the election, and everything is hunky-dory, and Trump's the president now, it's going to be great for the market, great for business. It just usually isn't that easy. Okay, it's just usually not that easy. Otherwise, no one would make money, right? You ever hear the saying, if it was that easy, everyone would make money? Yeah, I don't say that. I say if it was that easy, no one would make money. Okay, nobody would make money if it was that easy. Now, I still believe we will get a correction that takes us down below the start of the November rally, the election rally, and I believe it happens this year. Okay, my friend and colleague Paul Schatz, he wrote a nice little piece where he said the bears are just wrong, and he's right. I mean, this move here, if you've been watching my videos, you know I was calling for a more complex correction than just a quick pause. We did get that one, but a lot of bears were thinking, hey, this is the end of the world here. Okay, I did not think that, but I still think that we're going to get a deeper correction than we've already seen. But again, the bears are just were hosed here once again. The 50-day moving average after the breakdown and then the kiss, this was the spot where we could have seen some rollover and completed at least the yellow ABC. I know I've moved the letters, but at least a move down or down to the 200-day, and we didn't. The bulls stepped in here. So this is the line in the sand. Get above those March highs, okay? I'll just throw all these letters and numbers out, and then it's a different scenario. But if we do hold this and we do turn from here, this could be 1 down, right? 2 back up corrective, and then 3 down. Then the third wave is usually the most intense, and then 4, and then 5, and that could be 5 down for A, and then we correct in B, and then we go down in C, and that takes out that low, okay, if it doesn't do it on the A wave. Right, so that's what I'm looking at. All right, so that's the S&P. Let's look at the Dow real quick. It's similar. The Russell popped to a high, but just can't hold there. Mid-caps couldn't pop to a high. So a little divergence between the mid-caps and the small caps. Something to be concerned about. I mean, it's a divergence, but it's not anything that is too frightening in my opinion. And just look at the freaking NASDAQ, man. Just an absolute monster. Lagged for a while. Finally it caught up and it's just like, nah, I'm just going to go. So, okay, very stretched here. Again, not a bear, but when we get stretched this way, especially from the mean, and the equity markets are mean reverting, I look for at least a reversion back to mean. It doesn't have to come on a snapback. It could be a mild pullback. It doesn't have to necessarily be a snapback, but I do look for some reversion back to the mean. I like to use moving averages here. So let's look at some sectors inside. Some really nice moves in the semis. Semis popped to a high, but then reversed it on Friday. But look at some of these stocks. I think Clack was the reason for the semiconductor volatility, but then you got like Click, and you got Nvidia. It looks like it's gearing up to try to do something here. So keep your eyes on that from the long and or short side. There's Intel with the smackdown as well. How about like an ADI or an MU? Yes, MU looks like it could be possibly flagging here. Okay, what about like a Maxim integrated? Yeah, just sideways here. How about the banks? I like to always look at the banks to get a feel. So the financials did reverse. So the banks, at least, maybe not all the financials, of course, did reverse at the 50-day moving average here. Now, again, until it can get through that 50-day moving average, we're in limbo here between the 200 and the 50. Again, could be a possible head and shoulders pattern here. Could be a possible head and shoulders pattern. Again, is it perfect? Yeah, I mean, it's very, very rarely do they look like the textbooks, right? But, I mean, it's in the spirit. Has a higher high followed by a lower high. Bank of America rejected the 50. JP Morgan, Citigroup. Let's look at like Northern Trust. Okay, acting better, but also had a down day Friday. Here's Zion. Yeah, it looks like it wants to go to its 200-day moving average if this kicks in here. How about like Bank of New York, Wells Fargo? Just going through them all here. So Wells Fargo had the break off the 200-day. See what that's going to do. How about like a Goldman and the broker-dealer? So Goldman had the coil. It broke out to the upside here. Now, if this fails and comes back down through here, that is what's called a triangle pendulum. Looking for that to retest the 200-day moving average. Here's the XBD. It managed to close the week above the 50-day. Here's a Morgan. Didn't close above the 50-day moving average. Caterpillar with a big move. Let's look at these before we get into the biotechs. Caterpillar, nice pop-up. Wow. Sloppy. I talked about this for weeks, months. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. Boomage. John Deere, nice pop-up. It's pulling back. Let's see if it can rotate back up. If the market can keep going. I don't think it's going to fight the S&P. So if the S&P does wind up holding here, I don't think it's going to go off by itself. So that's John Deere. Let's look at the biotechs. So the biotechs, we looked at these in the coil as well. They broke. So I mean, not in a rush to get anywhere, but here's Gilead. Okay, let me see what we got here. So a nice pop up off of this low. Again, I would wait for a pause or a slight pullback and see if that gets some buying pressure coming in. Here's Biogen. Yeah, gapped into the 200-day and just sold right back. So got to watch that. The new stock I'm looking at is actually biotech, so we'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. Let's look at some of the high flyers here. I mean, Amazon with the big gap up. By the way, I just read Bezos is now the second richest human on Earth, right under Billy Boy. So we're 76 billion. Wow, just amazing. Gap and crap, but you know, if it could settle and try to get going again, it could head back to, could head towards the 1,000 mark finally. Here's Apple gearing up. Got to watch for earnings on these, right? Here's Alphabet with the gap and the shooting star, but it has to get confirmed. A lot of people say, oh, that's shooting star, just start shorting. Okay, but where's your stop? Well, my stop would be right above here if you're going to short the close on Friday. All right, you better be right, because failed reversal patterns can often lead to big moves. But Google like to revert back to the mean as well. They like the mean reversion. So, yeah, we could get a pullback here in Alphabet. How about Netflix? And look at Netflix. So boring, 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 boring. Push, and now a coil. So we want to see if this coil can break. Remember to check all your earnings dates on all these bad boys. Okay, so look at Netflix. All right, let's look at bonds real quick. Yeah, so the bonds, they broke out of this bigger pattern, coiled up, and then came out down the bottom here. So, yeah, watch the 50-day moving average. Again, there's no strong conviction here, in my opinion. Here's gold. So gold was coiled up nice, but like I said, it's only artwork until you get confirmation. Instead, it came out the downside. And it did hold the 200-day moving average. You could probably rearrange this a little bit and see what you can do with it. All right, let's see what we can... I hate when I do that. All right, I'm not going to futz around with this right now. Here's oil. So is oil going right back down to the lows here? Or can it hold? Overall, it's just complete chop and slop. July 4th, that time zone is usually a seasonal high level. Doesn't have to hit the high then, but just pay attention for that in case we start getting a little rally here, a little bounce here as we head into the July 4th holiday. Still a couple months away, of course. All right, and the stock to watch is Bluebird Bio. So watch this one here because it has had some recent volatility. Big move down from wherever this was, 200 area, down all the way down to almost 30. Nice base, nice pop-up, nice wedge, and we have come out of the wedge here. Okay, I mean, you could call it a flag on the short term. This was a flag, but overall, yeah, I don't call this a bull flag because it's coming at the end of a base. It's not coming off of an impulse, and it's been in a downtrend. But anyway, but you can call it whatever you want. It came out of the pattern, so I'm watching this now to get a mini coil. It's not there yet, but I'd love to see a couple more sessions where it coils up because then it is easier to bracket. Okay, you can, if maybe it forms another couple of days, whatever it does, you put your entry above and then you put your stop below and you manage your risk that way. Okay, it makes it easier, not easy. But Bluebird, this is a nice push up here, and then it came back down, right, flagged up or wedged up, and then boom, it's starting to come out. So I would see what it does over the next few sessions, and then bracket it and look for a push up. I wouldn't be a short up here because the moving averages are strong to the upside, and it's coming off of the short-term momentum impulses to the upside here, right? Even though the bigger picture, it's not in a big uptrend, but short-term, you got the momentum pushes here. So I'm looking to see at least if we could retest 100, see what we can do from there. But again, wait for the freaking pattern. If you have any questions, as always, write me, tiny@attackthemarkets.com. Have a great week. I will talk to you intra-week. If you are a member of if you're signed up to my newsletter at attackthemarkets.com, you should do it because it's free. If I don't talk to you intra-week, I will talk to you in next week's video. Have a great trading week. Let's see if my newly revised wave count holds true or if we're going to bust through this March 1st high. Have a great week.